Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Masha, and I identify as a conversational system designer. Anyone identifying as conversational designer in the audience? Yeah, wave your hand. Don't be scared. It's a safe place. Okay, cool. Well, a couple of you. Here's my beef with conversational designers. It's not personal, no problem. I don't like saying that I design conversations. I prefer saying that I design systems that sometimes talk. And I think this distinction is really, really important because the moment we start designing conversations, we think about personality, right? And when we think that we're designing systems, we start thinking about actions and consequences. And we're not really designing conversations, are we? What we're actually designing is decision engines that are kind of disguised as conversations, okay? And we have to remember that. So my talk is called How Not to Accidentally Build a Very Expensive Mistake That Speaks. And to help me do that, I brought someone with me. His name is Bob. Everyone says hi to Bob. Hello, Bob. Very polite audience today, that's very good. And Bob is about to show you a couple of things about voice UX, whether he likes it or not, whether you like it or not. So Bob is not an AI specialist. Bob is not a designer. He does not use the phrase prompt engineering. Bob is a blue-collar worker, and he works in industrial environments, as you can imagine them, the machines, the noise, the dust, the personal protection equipment, a lot of not very sexy things, right? And you can see that now. Bob is going through digital transformation, like all of the companies right now, and what it means for Bob is that he is facing a lot of pilot projects that probably will never see the day. Because when the companies say digital transformation, what they usually mean is doing that thing that our competitor is doing as well, but better, right? And in a lot of times, like we have a lot of kickoffs that start with someone telling us, okay, we have some innovation budget, and we want to build a voice assistant because Gartner report said that the voice was the future. And that brings me to my first point of a good voice assistant adoption. Your organization probably doesn't need one, or at least not where you think it needs it. Why? Because voice is not a feature. Voice is a working condition. I'll explain myself. So Bob is not standing at the desk, right? Bob is crawling and he's fixing and he's carrying things and he's running around and screaming probably. So voice makes sense when your eyes are busy, your hands are busy, the screens are inconvenient, or speed matters or safety matters. So voice belongs only where it solves a real physical or cognitive problem. That's an important thing to remember. I attend quite a lot of AI conferences, and every now and then there is someone presenting a demo saying things like, we managed to reduce our human support by 40%, and we introduced a voice bot, and he handled 200,000 calls last year. Look how successful we are. And my response to that is usually, well, if you remove all the humans from the contact center, and I have no choice but to speak to the machine, does that mean I prefer to speak to the machine, or does that mean you just leave me no choice? And that's a real question. If we look at some studies, there's a study of 2026 by SurveyMonkey saying that 79% of Americans strongly prefer interacting with a human over an AI agent. And that's not quite that surprising, right? We know that humans prefer to speak with humans. But what companies usually measure for their bots assistants is deflection rate and call volume and cost savings. but they're not really measuring the frustrations of the user, or why they're frustrated, or what they prefer, actually. One of my favorite points of this report is that 81% of people believe AI is used primarily to save money, not to improve service. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, how dare you, ma'am? And because you know it's true, right? Well, no, it's true. It's just that your customers are not supposed to know that. We have the same pain points over and over again. All the studies that show the same thing. Bots talk too much, they don't understand basic phrasing, no clear path to a human, repetition loops, and errors are not handled. And when you look at them, none of them are AI problems, okay? Those are system design problems, orchestration problems, escalation problems, architecture problems. Brings me to my next point. LLMs don't manage architecture. You still do. If you thought that, like with LLM, there is no need to design anymore, that's wrong. There is no LLM or neural network anywhere that is good at designing conversations, managing conversations, or architecture of the conversations. You might think when you use a GPT that it has context, but it doesn't. It just reinjects previous prompts with new prompts, and it simulates having context, but it just references the previous parts of the conversations. That creates a lot of the funny dialogues people post online, and this one is the one that I like dearly, is the bot assistant of Chevrolet of Watsonville that is advocating strongly for the end user to buy a Tesla Model 3. And the people who ride in Tesla in this audience are going to be happy about it. So yeah, no LLM is really good. Everything has to be designed by a human. The pattern the dialogue should happen in. The knowledge of what happened previously and what should happen when things go wrong, it all has to be all has to be designed by a human. And we see that all the time, like our teams, they get in their hands on an LLM, and the first thing they start doing, they start designing prompts, which is adorable and completely backwards, because prompts should be the last layer of your design, not the first one. Before you write a single prompt, you go through all the stages. You design your state model, your permission logic, your escalation paths, your failure policies, your memory boundaries. If you want to make a photo, that's not, because I'm going to change the slide. So we're not designing prompts, right? We're designing the systems that prompts sit on. Quick test for you. One day, Bob says, abandon that. What did Bob mean? Abandon task, abandon procedure, abandon the whole process, abandon hope, abandon all existence, abandon your kids. You can't guess. You're not allowed to guess. And your assistant is not allowed to guess. But that's what LLMs do most of the time. So when you have an LLM first, a prompt first architecture, what it's going to do is going to decide what you mean, it's going to guess what task you're talking about, and will respond with a lot of confidence. And that's how you get silent disasters. Well, if you have your architecture first system, which is robust, you will go through all the stages we talked about, like state management, permissions, policy, LLM for the extraction of the intent, the tool code, the verifier, your response, generated or not. It can be half-half, it can be deterministic, it can be generative, whatever you want. But LLM is just a little part of this process. It's not the whole process. And that's the same LLM, but completely different reliability. And we need our assistants to be reliable, right? Because at the end, it will just not go as you planned. In terms of errors, your assistant will go through all those errors. That's what he's going to experience in real life, okay? No input, no match, misrecognition, latency, technical failure, tool failure. There's a lot of them. Those are system errors, so pretty much predictable. On the other hand, you also have human errors. And humans are chaotic, They're gonna mumble, change their mind mid-sentence, ask two things at once, use vague language, use wrong terminology, forget what they came here for, and every once in a while they're gonna say something like, do that thing that you did last time from the last year, which is not a request, right? But you have to handle it. And the system errors are manageable and predictable, and you can anticipate them. The human mistakes, not so much. Humans are gonna surprise you every time. So I have 3 rules for error handling. This is not, let's say it's the most important ones that I use is clarify, confirm, and guide in terms of error management, okay? So you can handle most of the errors by using those rules. So unclear request, you clarify, you ask questions. When action is critical, you have to confirm the critical actions. And when something fails, you have to explain and guide. If you notice a pattern here, we don't just say, sorry, something went wrong, because for me, that's not an error message. We have to guide the user out of the error state. Because users don't get frustrated because of the errors. They get frustrated because they don't know what to do next, or when the system does something they thought they didn't ask for. That's why you need to confirm the critical actions, and that's why you need to explain them every time what they should do next, and what will happen next, okay? So clarify, confirm, and guide. Next one, and that's the pain point that we see a lot. If your assistant talks too much, he's wrong. Imagine Bob saying something like, record, same noise as last March, required action, call maintenance. Says that to the voice assistant. Now imagine the voice assistant answering something like that. Thank you for your feedback. I have successfully recorded your observation, which may be useful for future technicians. Would you like to listen to it, edit it, or order some vanilla latte with marshmallows? Bob will just physically uninstall it, okay? He's got like 3 seconds attention span and a clock behind him, and he needs to do things fast. Let's admit something. Unless your name is Joaquin Phoenix and the voice on the other end is the voice of Scarlett Johansson, you don't really want to listen to what a voice bot has to say, okay? That's the reality of things. We like saying that we design in conversations, but in reality, what people need a voice bot, like in a business application, what people need a voice bot for is to listen, remember, structure, and shut up. We often mistake being user-friendly for being good at small talk and being polite and all the emotions and emojis, etc. While in real life, being user-friendly means being able to perform an action the user is asking for without any clutter, whether it's verbal clutter or any useless actions. So if your answer does not fit in one breath, it's too long. And if it does, it's probably still too long. So remove the greetings and small talks and fill a phrase's personality, and then 20% more of it, you have to remove it as well. Because your user is not here for the talk, right? He's here to do something, to find a solution to a problem. Unless it's a companionship app, that's a different thing. Come and see me after. Another point, chat and voice are not siblings. So that a lot of people, they transform their chatbots into voice bots. And this is, for example, is a perfectly fine phrase for a chatbot. Greetings, how can I assist you today? Choose from the following options: book a flight, make a reservation, rent a car, purchase a vacation package, find travel deals. But imagine the cognitive capacity you need to process that in auditory manner and respond accordingly. It's nearly impossible. So what we need to do here, we need to remember that the chat is not voice. Chat, you can reread, you can skim, you can skip, you can scroll. In the voice, you blink and it's all gone. So you have to handle less carefully. You have to be aware of that. Have to assume the rules of transforming chatbot into a voice bot. We'll never give more than 3 options by voice. Allow interruptions, like when the right option is heard, that the user could say, okay, yes, I want that. Allow natural language synonyms, rent a car, option 3, this one, first one, the last one. Don't give all the options at once. Hi, I can help you book a flight or make a hotel reservation. Do you want to know more? That's a better phrase for a voice bot. One thing that the companies constantly underestimate is the power of the context. Bob, for example, like you need to know where your voice assistant sits. It doesn't live in a lab, right? Our assistant lives in Bob's world, where there is machine noise and dust and dirt and echoes, reverberations, and 3 seconds of attention span before something else requires his attention. And that is, the environment is your system, okay? You have Alexas at home, I guess. Some of you do. Yeah, you do. Have you ever tried speaking to Alexa while there are 3 toddlers running around you screaming? It doesn't understand anything. That's context, okay? And we like to think about context in like LLM context windows, like 32, 128K tokens. But actually, the real context is where your information sits, okay? So make the context part of your persona. Assume the noise and the personal protection equipment and bad connections and interruptions, fatigue, multimodality as well, because voice should not be alone. You can use it with screens and haptic and notifications and gesture. So think about the multimodality for your context. That's a summary slide for those of you who want to make a photo. It's not going to stay here long because I don't have a lot of time. So, Bob never really asked to be a part of this keynote. Bob never asked to be a designer. Bob never asked for AI. He asked for something much simpler. Make my job easier, not harder. Make the technology understand me and not the other way around. And don't make me talk more than I have to. Voice AI is not really about AI. It's about anthropology. It's about humility. It's about building technology that fits into this beautiful and messy and unpredictable world of human work. And if you have to remember one thing from today, let it be this. Voice succeeds not when it sounds smart, but when it makes people feel capable. And on that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you very much.